Andrew Keeley, agronomist for a little independent company called Farm Agri, and I'm also the development agronomist for Micromix.
Can you tell us what you've got here at the cereal stand?
So basically we've two replications of 3 plots. So there's wheat, maize and sugar beet, and we're basically demonstrating Micromix's products, how they make crops grow better and survive a typical day like today with this dry weather, and hopefully basically demonstrating our wares.
Yeah. Just tell us a little bit about what you've done to the plots. There's obviously an untreated.
So the wheat plots will have a completely untreated segment. So they're 8x4 plots, so there's 4x2 meters is completely untreated. And then there's the standard. The next plot is the standard fungicide program that what the site are doing on site. The next plot is treated with fungicide and the Micromix products, and then at the back corner there's Micromix only. So just biostimulants and no fungicide.
Now it's early days, but is there anything that you've seen so far?
Where we put the biostimulants on, so we did a pre-T0, a T0 and a T1, and where we put the treatments on, the crops absolutely jumped. There must be 2 or 3 inches difference in height. The crop's much thicker where the biostimulant's gone on.
What do you think is responsible for that?
We've seen when we're using the products, they actually aid fungicide uptake within the plant, and we also seen with the rooting, and basically it's making the crop grow in difficult conditions.
There's clearly a benefit when it comes to disease control. Does it allow growers some flexibility with rates and products?
I would say so, yes. Well, we're definitely seeing where we can put the biostimulants in there, we can actually lower the fungicide rates. Typically we're getting a lot of yellow rust with the dry weather, and anywhere we've used the biostimulants, the crop's actually healthier and thicker, and basically it's growing better and healthier, so it's not as it's not succumbing to disease as much.
There's been a lot of unusual yellow rust reports this year. What are you seeing in the field?
We're seeing lots of yellow rust. I was looking at a variety called Astronomer the other day. It's a 9 on the NIAB list. It's covered in yellow rust. Then we're seeing other varieties where we normally expect to be covered in yellow rust as clean as a whistle. There's reports that there's some skyfall on the site here and it's clean as a whistle, so that's very unusual.
What do you think's going on? Do you think we've got a new race? Too early to tell? What's your thoughts, Andrew?
I would say there's probably a new race that's kicking about. Even next days are supposed to be clean. We've X days in our plots, and it's filling up with yellow rust.
Yeah. And in terms of biostimulants, I mean, the market seems to be moving to these sorts of approaches. How did your journey into biostimulants start?
I was introduced. Well, we've always played around with biostimulants. I mean, I've been an agronomist for 20 years. We used to play around with Nutrifite PGA. And we were seeing quite a lot of benefits with that. We find if you do a low dose, often little and often low dose approach rather than big hits, we seem to get a lot more benefits out of it. Particularly when where the plant's developing, so when typical Atlantis timings, or when you're doing T0s and the T1, we try and get a little and often approach and vary things a little bit, but keep feeding the crop basically. And then I got introduced to Micromix, and we found that their products are very effectively priced. They seem to do what they say they do on the tin, and we can afford to put enough on to make a difference, and repeatedly do so without costing the farmer a fortune. And we are now getting the benefits. I know one of my growers, he grows quite a lot of, I'm trying to remember the variety. It grows quite a lot of Costello, and it has the highest specific weight on the recommended list at the present. But he takes his grain into storage, and for the last 5 years in a row, he has won the highest specific weight of any variety taken into the store. He's consistently getting 82s, 84s, 85 hectolitres bushel weights. Even to the point where the chap who stores the corn, who's also a farmer himself, is like, what the hell have you done here? he's wanting to know where we get the stuff from, and he started buying it.
And what do you think that's actually doing to the specific weight? What do you think the buying?
So specific weights are a function of carbohydrate synthesis within the grain and obviously storage. So the higher the specific weight is, the higher the carbohydrate content of the grain is. So obviously that's coming from photosynthesis and green leaf retention. So the longer we can keep that crop green, the more that it's going to assimilate carbohydrate within the grain, and it's obviously filling the grains out.
And in terms of the plots here, have you just treated it with one particular product, or has it been a regime of products? What have you actually done on the treated plots?
So the actual product we've used is Proplex, and I think the last treatment was actually a product called Bioplex. So basically Bioplex is Proplex, but then there's 10% manganese added to it. And with this particular formulation just seems to make stuff grow. We'll do a litre a hectare as a standard treatment, mixed in with your fungicides and your PTRs. If the crop's particularly struggling, we'll go to 1.5 litres, maybe 2 litres, but we tend to find 1 litre pulls a lot of weight. And then we tend to mix other micronutrients in with it as well. We tend to get higher uptake of the other micronutrients. Say if you're putting 15% manganese in, or magnesium or whatever, we tend to find that we can lower the rates on them as well, because the formulation of the Bioplex aids uptake of the other nutrients within the mix. And we are also finding that with fungicides as well. Our typical T1 this time, as there's very little septoria about, we now tend to be, we've majored on Prosaro and azoxystrobin, and we're finding our T1s at the moment, we're doing them from as little as £12 an acre.
Yeah, that's very good, isn't it?
Well, yeah, chuck a litre of Bioplex in with it and it works.
Yeah. And in terms of, I mean, some farmers still appear slightly sceptical, Andrew. What questions do you think you'll get asked at cereals? What sort of?
Well, obviously, is it muck and mist? Often there's always been this attitude to biostimulants, is it's snake oil. It makes the agronomist or the people selling the product a lot of money, and what's it do to me, Mr. Farmer? We're finding now it really does what it says it does on the tin. I think there's a lot of other products out there, some are good, some are not. Really, to the end of the day, it's years like this when the weather's poor or things are dry, or when things are in a lot of stress, where you see biostimulants actually pull the weight. I was always told as a trainee, you need at least 15% variance in the crop to actually be able to see it from the eye. Whereas it's seeing things like the biostimulants now, they're standing out like a sore thumb. So they're obviously doing something.
Yeah. Talking about this year, I mean, it has been another unusual year. How important is resilience now in farming systems?
Sorry, repeat the question.
We've been talking about this year and how dry it is and all the rest of it. How important is resilience in farming systems?
Well, it's the difference between profit and loss, isn't it? If your crops aren't resilient, and obviously we're lacking water, so anything we can do to try and keep the crop growing, because at the end of the day, yield is king. If you don't get the yields, it doesn't pay the wages. That's bottom line. So we're farming for nothing. So.
And in terms of cereals, why are events like this important in your view, Andrew?
A number of things. It's a good cereals is a good place to actually meet up with ex-colleagues, old and young, and just people within the industry. I often meet quite a lot of my ex-university colleagues. Lots of people I used to work with, because I've worked for 3 or 4 different companies now. It's obviously a good event to show the wares of farming and how farming operates. It's very good for the general public to come round and have a look and meet people within the industry. It's a very good technical event, first and foremost, I should really say. Often we go around a lot of other sites and people that are exhibiting here, and we go to learn stuff really, and and meet new people that we wouldn't normally meet when we sat behind our chairs in our offices. So,
And is there anything this year that you particularly also want to look at, whether it be machinery or some new chemistry or some new varieties?
well, we always find that the varieties demonstrations are very useful on the NIAB stand. We also go around the technology stands and just see what new stuff's available. I'm quite into my precision farming, and there's most people that we want to speak to generally here, so it's a good event to go and learn something different.
Brilliant. Thank you.